So we're going to stay with the Knicks here. They defeated their crosstown rival, the Brooklyn Nets, on Wednesday night behind 26-7-4 from Julius Randle. Dante DiVincenzo, he added 23 points to help notch New York's first win in Barclays Center in 4 years. Now the team remains without Mitchell Robinson, who had surgery on his left ankle last week. So Robinson, he posted this on social media, if we could show. He said, I quote, "Just don't get it. I do everything I'm asked when it comes to my body. And still this happens. Another year, another disappointment." It's kind of heartbreaking. Brian, it looks like the Knicks are preparing to be without Mitchell Robinson for quite some time here. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, so they did apply for a disabled player exception yesterday. They filed the paperwork with the league, which implies that he could miss the rest of the year. However, I am told that they're still going to reevaluate him in 8 to 10 weeks. But if you get a disabled player exception from the league, you have to use it by March 10th. And they're not going to probably have him back before March 10th, no matter what happens. So it's not impossible that you could see Mitchell Robinson back this year, but the Knicks have to prepare for the contingency that he won't be. That said, don't assume that the Knicks are like gonna, go crazy here. They already had a traded player exception from trading Obi Toppin, and they are kind of up against it on the hard cap. They're hard cap because they signed Dante DiVincenzo. And Isaiah Hartenstein has been really good as their backup.
Yeah.
He's been great. Starter. And Jericho Sims, who had been starting in place of Robinson, should be back in a week or so. They seem to be doing fine. They're winning games without their centers. So it's not the end of the world, but obviously Mitch was huge for them, especially on the offensive glass.
Yeah, he led the NBA in offensive rebounds. He was a defensive stalwart for them. But, Becky, it feels like with or without Mitchell Robinson, we've talked about it a lot on this show, where the Knicks are in terms of tiers in the East. And it's hard to see them getting into that top tier that includes Philadelphia, that includes Boston, that includes the Milwaukee Bucks. So how stuck do you think the Knicks are here in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I certainly agree with you. They're not getting into that tier. They don't have enough personnel. They don't have the manpower that they need to hang with those guys. I think you're going to get a consistent team like they've been. They're a pretty good team. They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass taxes. Sorry.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today, but they do have their dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small.
But here's the thing, and that's
Didn't they say about you?
But you know what?
They say that about you. You're a Hall of Famer.
I got a philosophy. Can I say my philosophy?
Go ahead.
If your best player is small, you're not winning. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, you could go down the list. Steph Curry is the only.
But he's not that small. He's not that small. He's like 6'3".
But also, though, I mean, he's the greatest shooter to ever walk the planet. He's in an
outlier
class.
Okay.
She is right. History says she is right.
Okay, but we're living in a new age, okay, new day. And here's the thing.
This is coming from a big man.
When we think about Jalen Brunson, we got to ask ourselves, what tier do we put him in, right? Because every single time I see him get between those lines and it's time for him to match up against other superstars across the floor, he give them that work and he stand on business. Now, do the results come out as a win when it comes down to the Knicks overall? But hold on. Stay with me. Stay with me. I watched them go into Phoenix a couple weeks and hand them 50. I watched them come down. Right after that, I watched them bounce back, come to L.A. and give them a solid 29. When we watched that series last year, Jalen Brunson against the Miami Heat before they were eliminated, he was going back and forth with Jimmy Butler. I saw a couple of 35-plus point nights. So my thing is, I know he's not the typical, eye candy.
Is he the person that's going to win you a championship as 1A?
This is what I'm saying. All I know is that the last time Luka Doncic had success in the postseason and went to a conference finals, it was paired up alongside Jalen Brunson. What I'm telling
But that's the thing. It was Luka and Jalen.
It was a combo because Jalen had his moments in there as well.
I think that's all that Becky is asking for is a combo.
As somebody who used to drop buckets as a small person in that.
That's what I was trying to remind you of, Becky.
As a person that used to get some buckets. I'm saying this as a small person. This is a game that the big and bold and it favors that God-given thing. And I love Jalen Brunson. I love Jalen Brunson. But you're going to put him on the level of a 1A. You're putting him with Giannis,
AD,
Steph,
Tatum.
I'll tell you what level are we putting Donovan Mitchell at? What level do we put Devin Booker at?
Well, and how is Donovan Mitchell won in the biggest moments?
What you mean? What biggest moments? What biggest moments?
Well,
what biggest moments has Donovan Mitchell? What has? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you. Okay, but let me ask you this. How far? What's the furthest Donovan Mitchell ever advanced in the postseason?
I believe the second round.
Okay, Jalen Brunson went to a Western Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson went to the Knicks, beat Donovan Mitchell when he played the Cavs last season, and then came back and lost to the Heat, who went on to knock off not only Giannis before they met up with the Knicks, but they went to knock down the Boston Celtics. But Jalen Brunson did his thing. R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle was not.
So are you saying that he's a one in the NBA?
All I'm saying is we got to stop looking at him and saying he doesn't fit the criteria of actually being a 1A. I understand. I understand he has a whack.
77 years of basketball in the NBA.
I understand.
And it's not a knock. It's not a knock on Brunson. It's just the way things are currently constructed.
Okay, if you swap the two, since everybody said, "Oh, the Knicks need a superstar. The Knicks need this." If Dame was in Jalen Brunson's shoes, would the Knicks be better? No. If Donovan Mitchell was in Jalen Brunson's shoes, would the Knicks be better? Hell no. So why are we not putting him in that caliber?
But are we putting the Knicks in that tier? Because at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson, he wants to win a championship like everybody else. And when we're talking about the East, we're really talking about those three teams and everybody else. And the Knicks, they're right up there knocking on that door. But are you putting them in that tier behind Jalen Brunson?
I'll tell you what, I got more confidence in the Knicks right now than I do the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, that's a good thing that we get to see them square off on Christmas Day. Big Perk, 5 games as our tradition continues on ESPN and ABC.
Stats are great. It's good to put up stats. But, if he comes with a loss, that's a different story. But, if he comes with a win, of course, it's a lot. It means, whatever, but that's to me that's not too much of an accomplishment.
So Embiid is the third player in the last 60 years to record 50 points and 10 rebounds at least against the #1 defense. That joins 2006 Kobe Bryant versus the Rockets and then 1987 Michael Jordan against the Hawks. And Perk, I'm hearing maybe you spied something last night out of the reigning MVP.
I'm Kendrick Perkins, better known as Big Perk, and nothing gets past me. Freeze! Just when you thought it did get past me, there I am. I spy a problem. I spy it all. Carry the hell on. That's right. I spied a problem, a big problem. And not only did I spy the problem, I spied the best. And here's the best. Not the best of the Eastern Conference, the best player in the Eastern Conference, but the best player in the league, Joel Embiid. Look at this. We compare him to Hakeem Olajuwon, but this is the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. Look at him getting back on his heels, a little midi, as Sinead would say, up in his face. Here you go again. Same play. Come here, Rudy. You too small. Tomato chest, little left hand layup, calling for the flop. He can't guard me. Look at Rudy. Somebody help him up. Here we go again. This is a double team. He's scared to step up. I'm going to snatch the screws out the basket. This is what you do when you're the best. You go out there and you shine like new money against the #1 ranked defense in the league and one of the best defenders at your position.
Man, I always love a good I Spy with you, Big Perk. Brian, with all of that as the background, what statement do you think Joel Embiid made last night?
Did you see, and Perk?
Oh, he spied it.
Perk, did you see that graphic that we had up a minute ago?
He sees it all.
About 50 points against the #1 defense, and it was Jordan in '87. We're talking about prime Chuckville Jordan when he didn't have Pippen, scoring like crazy, and Kobe in 2006 when he was in prime post-Shaq Chuckville, okay? Do you see what that says? That is serious right there, okay? And Embiid being able to do this in a game that he knew that was important like that is awesome. And, Kobe and Jordan weren't necessarily playing against the best defender at their position in those games. This is the best defender at his position. He put 50 on him. And I'm going to tell you, this mid-range shot that you were just showing, Perk, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do when a 7'3" guy is hitting that mid-range shot? You can't do anything about it. And the Sixers have something going here. Joel absolutely crushes teams in the first quarter and the third quarter. And if you're lucky to hang around in the fourth quarter, Tyrese Maxey kills you. Maxey kills in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. They have this incredible rhythm between them. And what do you do when a guy who's like this size, if you get up on him and he puts the ball on the floor, he's on the line. He's on the line. There's nothing you can do about it. If you stand back off him, he can make that shot. 11 mid-range jumpers. Look, if you told the Wolves before the game, hey, you're going to force Joel Embiid to take 11 mid-range shots, they'd be like, hot damn, we got a great chance here. But you can't stop it.
Contested by a 7-3 guy.
Can't stop it.
Look, going into the season, the Philadelphia 76ers had question marks. Joel Embiid's play has changed that to an exclamation point. He has been playing phenomenal basketball. He's playing the best basketball right now in the NBA and the best of his career. The last 8 games, he's averaging 41 points and shooting 60% from the field. And you ask the question, like, how are you going to stop that? What are you going to do? Put the double from behind? That's, like, never done in basketball. The reason why he's so successful, the first few years of his career, he was on the block, trying to do it in the down low. Instead, everyone below him, he's at the top of the key, and so the double can't come. And if it does come, all he has to do is pass it out to Maxey. He knows he's right there. They have great synergy. MVP. MVP right now.
Wait till they trade for some more shooters, because they probably are going to.
Well, I can tell you, I used to have to make up scouting reports on how to guard him.
Pray? Was that what was at the top?
Right. And he was really great with J.J. Redick. They'd run the whole first quarter actions for them, and they'd run this little pin down act. I mean, you do this, they do that. You do that, they do this. I mean, an exceptional reader. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't do his little brothers like that, because that's what it looked like, a man amongst boys. And at the end of the day, and here's what I love about him. His first foul yesterday was a shot right to Gobert's head. And it was a message, I'm coming right at you. And the good thing about Joel, I find, is that he backs his stuff up. He's not the guy that says, I'm going to go show up and then doesn't show up. This man shows up. He's like a great white shark, okay? When he decides he wants to eat you, there's nothing you can do, okay? It's over. You can't foul him. And that's the biggest thing, because he sticks that ball out there. And it's like sticking candy in front of a child. It's like you're going to swipe at it and you're going to hit the ball. But then he's going to swing through and eventually you're going to go down on that arm and send him to the line. And when he gets to that free throw line and he's hitting that he's virtually unguardable. And I thought Minnesota, you know, they tried a couple different things. Some zone, they crowded.
No.
He's a man amongst boys.